Hi everybody, it's me, Corey T, and in this video we're going to be talking about the most powerful thing, in my opinion, that you can do to learn to transform your relationships. And no, it's not a quick fix. This isn't one of those videos that's going to tell you this one quick thing that you can do to get your ex back or to transform someone to make them love you. And it is so simple. It is just learning to know yourself and being able to validate your emotions, and that takes practice. And it's especially difficult if we've spent our whole life not doing that. If we've learned to look for other people to confirm that what we feel is right, what we think is right, what we want is right, then we'll spend loads of time trying to get people to agree with us. So you might have been in this situation, maybe with a specific person, maybe in a relationship, maybe with family members, where you're arguing with someone because you're trying to get them to see you, understand you, get them to know that you are right. Okay, so every time we're trying to get someone to say that, yeah, actually you're right, part of that is because we want to be seen, we want to be validated, but also part of it is because we're not able to really validate ourselves. So we're just fighting with a mirror. We're fighting with the part of us that doesn't really trust ourselves, that doesn't really trust that what we're feeling is true, and we need that other person to confirm it to us. But actually, you know, whenever you get to a place where you're like, you know what, I don't even need you to tell me that what I feel is right. I don't even need you to see how I'm feeling is true, because I know it is. That's where peace is. That's where the peace comes from. And how powerful are you if you don't need someone to confirm that what you want and what you need is right? How powerful is that? That is confidence, and that is attractive. That is sexy. Okay? And so when you can get to a place where you can really do that for yourself, and you don't need someone to justify it, to prove it to you, to validate it, then you're free. You're actually free. And you know that the people and the things and the places and the jobs and the romantic relationships and any relationship that is there ready to meet you will meet you exactly where you are when they are ready to do that, okay? And you're not going to go down to their level. You're not going to try and fight for them. You're not going to chase it, because actually you know in yourself who you are and what you deserve. That place of that kind of confidence, it doesn't just come overnight. It doesn't just come from watching this video, although that thought process may be activated through watching videos and having conversations like this with yourself and with other people, okay, which is what the Conscious Creators Masters Academy is all about, by the way, and it starts again in January. If anyone wants to find out more about that, please message me. I'll talk about that again, another video or at the end of this video. But actually having those conversations and going on the journey over time to learn that actually who I am and what I feel is right. And the difficult thing with this is that we don't really know ourselves. We don't have that strong sense of self. And the reason why we don't have that strong sense of self is because when we were younger, maybe we didn't get that feedback that we needed that made it okay for us to feel what we felt, and maybe someone questioned how we felt, maybe someone didn't validate it, and so we're constantly looking on the outside for someone to make it okay, because that's what children do. That's how we develop our sense of self, okay? And so when we didn't have that there for us, we learned to still be looking, checking, am I okay? Am I safe? Am I loved? Am I wanted? And the truth is that yes, you are safe. You are loved and you are wanted, and you're the one that has to confirm that to you. And this isn't to say, by the way, that external validation is something that we should never have, okay? External validation is something that we need. It does give us comfort, and we should definitely not be in relationships where someone is consistently reflecting back to us that we're bad or we're wrong, or, you know, what we feel is not right, and they're gaslighting us and all of this kind of stuff. That is where you remove yourself, because actually what you know is that what you're feeling is true and is right, okay? So you don't need to put yourself in those situations, and you need to be able to go, you know, if I'm not being treated with love and respect, if I'm not being treated the way that I want to be, the way that I know I should be, then I don't need to fight for that. I don't need to convince you. I don't need to tell you why you should treat me this way. I don't need to ask for it, you know? You don't need to ask for these things, they are given. So this is the place that you need to get to, because there's a lot of people in your life. I imagine there are people in your life who you don't need to ask for that respect from. You don't need to ask to feel, you know, seen and validated from certain people, because that's just given with them. And that's this kind of safety that you want to be able to feel, especially in your romantic relationships, in your primary relationships, okay? So if you're chasing someone, trying to convince them to love you, there's something going on with you. And I'm not saying that it's your fault, because it isn't your fault. Okay, this is one of the things that people get really confused about, especially in this manifesting community, where they start thinking, oh, if I change myself, then this person will love me. Actually, it should be more about you changing the way that you're seeing yourself, and trusting that if this person is right for you, and if this person is going to meet you where you believe you are, right? You know that you're worthy of love and respect. You know that you're good enough. You know that you're this person. Either one or two things is going to happen. When you get there, you're either going to realise, oh my God, what am I doing chasing this person who clearly cannot see what he's got or she's got. They can't see how valuable I am. So why would I want that? Why would I want that in my life? You know, that will become really unattractive to you. That will be a total turn off, and it should be a total turn off, right? Or they will meet you there, and it will be effortless for you. Okay, it won't be this strenuous thing where you've got to think about what you've got to do and say and all of that kind of thing. It'll just come to you, and it won't be this horrible battle that you might have been in. But if you're not there yet and it feels a really long way off, okay, well, that's fine, because it's a journey. It's honestly, it's such a journey. I'm still on it. I'm still on this journey. I'm still figuring all of this stuff out, right? We all are. It might be lifelong, but we'll grow in confidence over and over and over again if we keep practicing coming back to, no, what I feel is right, what I feel is true, what I need is right. And I don't need to convince anyone of that. The difficult thing is that, okay, this is simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. The difficult thing is that the child part of you, the bit that wants so much to cling on to this person, this thing or whatever, will find it really hard to let go of needing to get that person to see you or validate you. So it will feel scary, because it will feel like, well, if I don't do something, then what if they go away, or what if they leave? And the power is in knowing that it isn't anything to do with them that's going to affect your worth or your value, and that them staying or leaving is actually not the thing that is going to make you feel better in the long run. In fact, it's almost like a band-aid. If they came back tomorrow and they said, oh my God, I love you so much and everything, you'd feel better for a bit. And then that horrible feeling of low self-worth would creep up again and poison the situation if you don't work on that really deep sense of knowing about who you are. So go on the journey to discovering what your yeses are, what your nos are, what your what's that word for when you say absolutely not? I can't remember what it is. Deal breakers. What your deal breakers are, okay? And what you can write them down. Like, spend some time really thinking about, what are my deal breakers? What are my yeses? What are my nos? What am I willing to tolerate? What am I not willing to tolerate? And this doesn't mean striving for perfection, okay? Because this is where some people can get tripped up too, because there's no such thing as perfect in a person. There's perfect for you, okay, but there's not perfect. So sometimes people will get into a kind of entitled sense of self, and sometimes that can actually cut people off. So as I say, this can be confusing when you're doing it on your own, because it's like there's all these different thoughts running around. When you're not used to validating yourself, you do actually need someone to help you learn how to validate yourself. that is what my Conscious Creators Masters Academy does. It creates this really safe space for people to learn how to actually know who you are and how you feel about yourself, and really get that validation from not just me but a group of people who are doing the same thing in a really, really safe container. And that's why it's 3 months long and not one session long and not 1 month long. It's 3 months so that we get that time to learn and start to integrate the practice of being like, yeah, how I feel is right. It makes sense how I feel. And over that period of time, a really beautiful thing starts happening where people start growing in that confidence, and it's beautiful to watch, and we see it in real time, this happening where people are having life experiences and start to respond differently than how they did at the beginning of the program. And it's amazing how those transformations do happen on the inside, and then in their relationships and with things that happen in their life, and they make different decisions and everybody's cheering each other on, and it's a really beautiful journey to go on. So if you would like to know more about that, it's starting in January. There's information on my website, I'll leave it in the link below. But that's the process, right? And I started thinking about community as a really, really important part of this. And, you know, I've talked a lot in this video about not seeking external validation, particularly when it comes to like seeking it for one person in particular in order for you to feel better about yourself, okay? But actually, if we haven't got the tools and we haven't experienced being able to validate ourselves with that being reflected back from people, okay, in our lives consistently, then it's really hard to do. And the journey of self-transformation is not one that we should go on our own in its entirety. Obviously we have to go on it in our own, because no one can jump into our body and make us feel anything or make us know 100% yes, I know how you feel. But we shouldn't have no one to talk to about this, because it can be very confusing, very lonely, very messy. And when we're getting these triggers all the time from the outside world, our old sense of self will go, I know what to do, and it will sabotage the situation in a way that we've just repeated over and over and over again. And so when we have that guidance and that support there, we can hold that inner child, that younger sense of self, and we can be able to say, hey, you're safe. It's okay, and you're powerful and you're amazing, and you can do something different this time. You can respond differently that won't perpetuate that situation. And when you have that safety and that external validation in a safe container that is actually empowering you rather than taking away your confidence and making it reliant on a person or something, you start to be able to go, yeah, actually I can validate myself, and I do feel like what I'm feeling is right, and actually I do have the confidence to do something different, to set a boundary, to say no, to ask for what I need. And that is when relationships change, okay? There's no magic in this, there's no mystery in this, it's just a cause and effect thing, okay? It's not this mystical, magical thing. This is how we manifest, but in real life, right? In real life, the reality of this is that when you do something differently, when you make a decision about yourself, about who you are and how you feel about yourself, that will have an effect on how people respond to you, okay? It just makes sense. It just makes perfect sense, doesn't it? So when we learn to have the confidence to do this, and we work on the feelings that are stopping us from doing that, that's when things change. And it's a beautiful process to go on, but it's a long one, okay? It might happen overnight. It might happen, like you might start seeing changes like straight away, but you also might see changes over time, over your lifetime, okay? And you might be able to look back in a year and go, oh my God, I would never respond how I used to respond. And now I know so much more, that things are so different now. You'd feel completely differently looking back on yourself over time. And that happens over and over and over and over again. So if you would like to go into the new year with this kind of support, then check out my website, have a look at the Conscious Creators Academy. It's in my Conscious Creators Academy tab, but there's also a place where you can just sign up straight away on my courses tab as well. If you have any questions about it, or you want to know if it's right for you, you can send me a direct message, or you can email me, or you can jump onto my free call that I have next Saturday. There's a few people who came onto the one that I did this Saturday, and you can ask me directly any questions that you have about it there. Over Zoom. You are doing amazing wherever you are on this journey, whatever's happening in your life. You've been through a lot. There's a lot that we go through in this crazy life, and it can be lonely sometimes because no one knows exactly how we feel, but we can say, yes, I've had similar experiences. I know those words that you're saying resonate with how I'm feeling. And so it's true that we're all human and we're all going through something, and we've all been through difficult things. And maybe you're going through something difficult now, maybe you're feeling empowered, maybe you're feeling strong, but wherever you are, that is where you're meant to be. You're growing, you're learning, you're evolving. Okay, don't shame yourself into this evolution, like empower yourself into this evolution, okay? And it'll just keep happening over and over again. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.